Hello and welcome to BodyTrust number 8. I'm your host, Dr. Doug. Today's classroom subject will be hurrying, one of the major causes of pathology in our modern society. Now, hurrying really includes a whole lot of behaviors, all of which add up to excess friction. And friction creates heat, and heat, at least unwanted heat, excess internal heat, for instance, inflammation. We have all kinds of inflammatory disorders going on. The world has never seen such a collection, a magnitude of inflammatory disorders. And a lot of it is due to this hurrying ethos that we are subjected to. Back in the 1980s, in late 70s, early 80s, the politicians and the employers started speeding everything up because they had trouble making profit. And that meant that gradually hurrying and being busy all the time became a virtue. If you weren't busy all the time, you were not a good person. There was something morally wrong with you if you weren't busy all the time. And then it led to multitasking. You can't just do one thing all the time. You have to do two things all the time, or three things all the time. We need to drive fast. We need to walk fast, talk fast, think fast, do everything fast. All that speed creates more friction. Not only in the mind, but not only in the body, but in the mind as well. So mind and body are speeding through life in order to fit in, and this is creating a whole lot of problems. One of those problems is autoimmune disease. Here the immune system is so busy that it's lost sight of what its true job is. That is to go after the bad guys. It starts going after the good guys. That is, it starts burning tissue, healthy tissue. This is autoimmune. And there's a long, long list of autoimmune diseases popping up in our modern societies that the world has never seen before. We have never witnessed this kind of thing, this kind of heat, these heat problems. If you notice, the animals that move the fastest, that hurry all the time, have the shortest lives. Look at insects, a day or two. Bzz, 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 bzz. Mice and other little animals like that move around all the time, very fast. Live a month or two, maybe a year. Right? Look at elephants that move very slow. They live 60 years. Moving slower extends your life because it improves your health, because it's the way that we moved for 300,000 years in the Stone Age. And you'll find that people living in rural communities definitely move slower than people in the cities. It's city life that has created this idea that you must be busy at all times. We have to fight it. We have to swim against the current to be healthy. One of those habits is driving. I stopped driving a couple of years ago. It's unhealthy. I've been driving for decades, since I was 16. And I'm telling you, you're constantly competing for space on the road. There's great advantage to taking public transportation and hiring other people to drive. And when we have self-driving vehicles, we won't even need to hire people. Here's a short little video. It's my very first video in a videography class at Santa Monica College a year ago. It's rather crude, but I'm going to play it for you. It's called Cars Are From Mars. Enjoy. us, right on time. Thank you, Bruce.
All right, buddy.
I went online and ordered a bumper sticker, and I put it on the left rear bumper. It said, "Safety first, don't tailgate." This allowed me to get in the right-hand lane and drive the speed limit so that those with excess heat could go around me quickly and not hassle me to go faster. It really worked. There's another habit that we're seeing cropping up here, and that is multitasking. It's very unhealthy. It creates all that heat in the brain. It's dangerous. And you know, we're only meant to do one thing at a time. If you do two things at a time, neither will be performed optimally. Here's a video I pulled from YouTube, and I edited it somewhat. It's rather graphic, so if you're a little squeamish, you might want to fast forward through this. It's called "Multitasking is Dangerous." The most important thing you can do to stop the hurrying and the heat that it causes is to get enough sleep. There's lots of scientists out there telling you how many hours of sleep you need. Your body knows how many hours of sleep. You need to wake up refreshed. If you're forcing yourself out of bed every morning to go to work or school, Get to bed earlier. Do not work at night. We are not designed to work at night, by the way. We are omnivores, and this means that we need 12 and 12. 12 hours of yin and 12 hours of yang. 12 hours of yang during the day, produce, work, create things. 12 hours of yin at night, eat, feast, have fun, sing, dance, relax, have sex, sleep. That's yin time. That's when we really cool the heat. And you need that 12 hours of wind down and sleeping to cool the heat that's created during the day. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for being with me. Welcome back, everyone, to the interview portion of my show. I'm Dr. Doug. I have a friend I would like to introduce you to. She's a wonderful person and a leader of the wellness revolution. She teaches meditation. She teaches meditation with reflection. And I think you'll find her very interesting. So here is Linda Modaro. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Doug.
Linda, you teach meditation, a very unusual kind of meditation. I believe the name is Sati Sangha. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Kind of. I'll tell you a little more. I have a nonprofit organization called Sati Sangha.
Sati Sangha.
Right. And I chose the name because Sati means mindfulness in the language of the Buddha, in Pali. And it's a very complex word. And most people think it only means being present or being in the moment. But it actually has many more nuances of recollection, reflection, discernment, and memory. So I used the word because, you know, I'm attracted to foreign cultures. I just have always wanted to be Asian. And I found myself being raised in America, and this is a way that I can kind of blend the cultures.
You're a licensed acupuncturist, correct?
I am.
You studied Chinese medicine.
I studied Chinese medicine. I'm an acupuncturist.
What else have you studied? A lot.
A lot. But I would say the focus of my teaching has been Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation, acupuncture, herbology. And I haven't just been recently studying more psychology and philosophy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You mentioned something about trusting the mind.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept. Could you elaborate on that a little bit, Linda?
Yeah. Well, especially since I'm talking to a person who trusts the body.
Yeah.
We're in
yin and yang are of equal value.
Yin and yang are of equal value, right? And what I had found early on in my practices is that I was really only trusting the body for a while, and that I was kind of hoping my mind would catch up. And I found that meditation, especially meditation that's permissive and allows you to think and feel and really be yourself within it, helps develop the mind and leads the mind to understand itself and to be able to discern when it's telling a story that's false or completely off track, so to speak. And when are you closer to what's really important for you and what's real, and developing qualities of kindness and gentleness. And
we would call that appropriate Shen.
Yes, and we call
Chinese medicine.
Exactly. There's a Pali word for appropriate. It's samma.
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 How do you spell that?
S-A-M-M-A.
S-A-M-M-A. Samma.
Samma. And we talk about appropriate speech, appropriate action, appropriate Shen, appropriate...
Oh, that's starting to sound like Buddhism.
Aha. It is. Disclaimer, I teach, meditation is based on early Buddhist philosophy and psychology.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
great. So, why do you combine meditation with reflection? What's the connection there?
Yeah. Well, this
I've heard this talked about.
with other people too.
Yeah, I heard it in
It's
the
nice.
news or something.
That's nice. Yeah, I think it's catching on a bit. Reflection is not a quality that comes naturally to people. I think that it's something that gets learned and developed. Although we are self-reflective beings, we have that capacity inbred, but it's not often something that is prioritized. And going back to what I had said at the beginning around sati, mindfulness, having this in the moment aspect, it also has a reflection aspect to it. And so the meditation I teach, I call it reflective meditation, so that people sit and then afterwards they learn from their mind by reflecting back on what happened. What actually did I experience in meditation? So that your wisdom comes much more from your experience rather than an external authority or a book you read or somebody who told you how to meditate. You're learning from what goes on
from yourself.
From yourself, exactly.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind
And
of
the mind becomes much more trustworthy when you start to know it and are friends with it, rather than it's the persecutorial enemy, something like that. Okay, too big of a word.
We keep it simple.
Yes, we should try. We should try.
Well, when and where did you first learn to meditate? What was that experience like?
That's interesting. I first learned to meditate in the 80s, and it was in your tradition, I would say, Taoist tradition. Yeah, yeah. And it was a much more guided meditation. It was something where I was guiding energy to certain organs, and then
right.
Started
to sound like qigong.
Qigong. It was like a sitting qigong, and so therefore.
Was that at Emperor's or?
No, in Georgia. No, Atlanta, Atlanta, Georgia.
Are you from?
No, Georgia? I was living there at the time. Yeah, I don't know. Should I tell my medical experience? No, I won't. But anyway, as I had acupuncture and symptoms that I had had for years cleared up with one treatment.
Wow.
So I got some magical results that led me in the direction of studying Qigong, meditation, Tai Chi. Yeah.
So that was back in the 80s when you started doing this, right? And and then you developed your own take on this. Is that correct?
Yes. You know, it's. I think this is an important question. I studied with many people, and I went really deep into certain traditions and certain people's their study, and I was a very good mimic. So I could easily kind of pick something up and parrot it back.
You'd be good in ballet.
I was a young ballerina. I'm not an old one yet.
You have to mimic if you want to be a ballet dancer. Okay,
yeah,
so
and that's what
the hard way.
And that's what I started in.
Okay.
But that transition from being a mimic to finding your own path, they blend at times, and then at sometimes you're thrown out of the nest, and there you are, and all of the teachings that you have kind of come together in unique ways, and you develop those, and then you call it your own for a while. So right now I'm calling it reflective meditation, but it's not my own, and yet it's my own.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is meditation over the years? How has it helped you? What has it done for you? Does it?
I feel like I'm less crazy. I'm not.
So you would recommend it for crazy people?
Yeah, I would. If you feel crazy.
We're all crazy.
I know, exactly. That's right.
Because we live in a crazy society, right? So we're constantly swimming upstream, trying to counteract this.
Right. Right.
And my classroom lecture is on hurrying.
Yeah, that's.
So I wanted you to be, the icing on the cake here. Right? So, who in particular would you recommend your program for?
It seems that I do well working with people that need a little guidance, and they actually need to be listened to and heard, that they're just kind of swimming out there among all this material and they really don't know where to land. So through our discussions, we kind of find a place where you land. And it's not where I would land, it's where the person who wants to meditate lands. So that's what I'm interested in, and that helped me tremendously, and I feel like that's what I'd like to give back.
You teach groups, is that right?
I do.
She flies all over the world. My goodness, this woman. People knock on her doors at night and day, right? Where are you going next?
New Mexico, New Zealand, and Australia.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. Holy mackerel, yes. It's really nice to have a few friends that live in different places of the world.
Sure.
These are not large
getting
groups.
Smaller, isn't it?
The world is getting smaller. Getting smaller, and my groups are small. My groups tend to be anywhere from 3 to 10 people. And so it's really for people that need a little bit more individual attention or want that. And I do groups in person and online. So mostly in Southern California in person, but online, people from all over the world. My friends come together on the group calls.
And do you have, what's coming up? For Santa Monica, you were planning a new group for where I live.
Isn't that funny? I've been where we live. Yeah, we just recently met the last 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. You know, I like radicals, so I like Doug. I feel like he's a radical. What he teaches is radical, and that really resonates with me. And then also translating radical into usable information, usable experience, and staying close to that.
That's what I've noticed about you. You're a very practical person.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, then I've changed because I've been very idealistic.
Well, you're idealistic, but you're also practical. I mean,
that's nice,
right? That's yin and yang.
Right, the combination.
So I see that combination in you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's very
But we got something coming up in Santa Monica.
In November, I'm going to be starting up my groups again online, and then also adding in a group monthly in Santa Monica. I haven't taught where I live for years. It's been really hard for me to get a group going here, and so I'm going to try it again.
Is that because there's so much of this?
Yeah, I think so.
Santa Monica.
Yeah. So it's nice. Thank you for asking to talk to me, because I think maybe even if 1 or 2 of you are interested in meeting or have any questions, that's kind of what I'm looking for, small audience.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Better, more individual attention.
Yeah.
And progress faster. Yes. So when you retire, if you ever do retire, is there someone do you have someone to take over this enormous worldwide enterprise?
Yes, actually, I do. I train teachers, and this is another thing that I love to do, is I train meditation teachers.
Training teachers is good, yeah.
And I bring this approach or orientation, that basically meditation teachers, no matter what style they're teaching, this approach can be used in a parallel tandem way with the material. Sati Sangha, and it will continue, I hope.
Good. Now, how can people get in touch with you?
Best way is through the website, which has
a newsletter too.
Well, yeah, it is actually a monthly email newsletter. You can sign up for that.
What is your address?
It's https, satisangha.org. SATISANGHA.org.
Great. Well, that's terrific, and I think that people should get in touch with you, because we need to find a way out of the swirling craziness that is this life in Los Angeles, the United States, and the world. So I highly recommend Ms. Linda Modaro.
Thank you, Doug.
And her meditation course. Thanks once again for being with me.
You're so welcome. You did a great job.
Welcome, amigos. Dr. Doug here. Please subscribe to my show, and be sure to share it with your friends. Also, please click that little bell so that you will be notified every time I post a new episode.